Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, October 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about technical charts and how they can be used as a trader to make good decisions, then this will be a video for you. Real quick before I get started, I do want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live class that I'm offering on Thursday. So if you're liking what you hear, you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to build consistency, then I am offering, like I said, a free class on Thursday. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box that you can click on to get signed up. Or if you're watching at my site, claytrader.com, then there's an area right on the webpage there that you can get signed up. So no pressure, but just want you to keep in the back of your mind that if you're liking what you see as I go through the video and want to learn more about this tool, then definitely get signed up for the class. First stock here, ticker symbol PROG. Did this analysis in the previous top 10 video. So that is where these red and green line annotations are coming from. But the big dynamic here is that the price is now broken to the downside of this pattern. Now, just because the price is broken to the downside does not mean that, okay, everything's totally destroyed, the chart's wrecked. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is it now does become a more than valid and more than rational question to be thrown out there in the sense of, is this the start of something much worse? Again, to be fair, it's just a little blip on the radar and this thing quickly recovers back around. But my point here is it now makes good, valid sense to at least be wondering and at least have in the back of your mind that maybe the bears are starting to take over control again and are starting to gain more strength. So again, just because a little bit of a breakdown has occurred doesn't mean that everything's destroyed, but it does cause for some cautionary, maneuvering here. And on that note, that's where the first update comes into play. And this update's just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if the price does try to bounce back upwards, now that first key area of resistance is going to be right there at $2.10. Then you still do have the overarching level of resistance up there. But actually, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that line for now as it served its purpose, because really the near-term level to watch from the resistance standpoint is at $2.10. And as far as levels of support are concerned, the big level now to watch moving forward, you're going to be that purple line there, which on my chart denotes the very famous, the very well-known 50-period moving average. And from an overarching, chart perspective, that's certainly an area that you would want to see the price hold above. So yeah, no doubt about it. I'm not going to say things are destroyed, but yeah, things are looking a little bit shaky. Next one, JSPR. What a monster mover this one was today. And now we have some very well-defined areas here. And I emphasize well-defined for a couple reasons. First, I'm not trying to come across like this line that I'm about to draw is some sort of great discovery on my part or that I have some sort of special skill. The exact opposite. I assure you, people that use charts, understand charts, are going to be drawing this line. And I say that because when people around the world are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can definitely produce some very dynamic movements. And the level here that a bunch of people are going to be watching is right up there, give or take around that $17 mark, which you can see has now presented a couple problems. Even right there, price did break above it, but that didn't last very long, and back down below it went. So moving forward in technical jargon, the breakout point would be right there around that $17 mark, which is that resistance line right there. So if the price goes up there and breaks through it, again, no such thing as a guarantee, but is at least a valid thought that a break of 17 could create a whole lot more momentum. Absolutely. And as far as levels of support are now concerned, if this thing continues to pull back, first key level going to be right there around $13.85. And then after $13.85, things get a little sketchy because, and that's kind of the catch-22 when you have huge movements, there can be some pretty big spaces between areas of support. So after the $13.85 mark, next key area of support, essentially not until down around that $12 mark. But all in all, still a nice little pattern here, bit of a consolidation. So the big question mark just moving forward is, can it get the break up through 17? Next one, ticker symbol AMC, and another nice day here. And actually, AMC was very polite to those of you that watched this video previously, because if you did watch it previously, then hopefully you remember me talking about that green line there at 36.25, and I talked about how, on Tuesday, it provided a nice little entry point there before the bounce. Well, check out what it did this morning. It was polite. It pulled back, said, all right, maybe if you missed 36.25 here, or if you missed it right there, we'll give everybody another chance right there before making a very nice bounce. So for those of you that finally took advantage of that 36.25, congratulations. Once again, the power of charts. Now, let me be very clear. Is it always guaranteed for sure going to bounce off 36.25? Of course not. But that's the power of charts, is it's helping us locate not random locations. 36.25 by no means is a random area. And that's our job as traders, is to find rational areas on the chart that we can build trade plans around. And 36.25 is definitely one of those. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding right here. And I've been talking about this level over and over again. And for you longer time viewers, you've heard me talk about 36.25 before. And the other level you've heard me talk about is that pink line up there at the 200 period moving average, which once again, surprise, surprise, is presenting problems. Every single time the price has gotten up here recently, there and then right there, it's not really a problem of breaking up through it because once again, the price broke up through it, but it's a problem of maintaining the momentum, or in other words, staying up above that level. But the good news is the price is very close to that area right here, currently valued at right around 37.85. So moving into Thursday, again, not really a question of can the price break above that moving average, but more importantly, can the price actually stay above it? All in all, though, good solid day, and let's see if the price can finally get the breakout tomorrow. Next one, ticker symbol PLUG, and honestly, just to fess up, I have no idea how I lost track of this one. Now, today it makes sense just because of all the volume, but I mean, look at this beautiful uptrend. So for those of you that have been participating in that, good for you. I have no excuses. I don't know how I just lost track of it. But if you didn't lose track of it, and if you've been participating in this already very nice uptrend, well, then you're smiling ear to ear after the big gap up today. But I suppose later is better than never. We'll get this one mapped out here because this is a great looking uptrend. And with the big movement today with the gap up and volume surge, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more eyeballs on it. Case in point, me, right? I finally got my eyes drawn to it, which, as pathetic as that is, it is what it is. So let's talk about some areas of support for those people that like to play pullbacks. The ideal level here to keep an eye on would be right at 31.75. Now, don't get me wrong. If the price pulls back to 31.75 and then falls below it, doesn't mean anything's destroyed. In fact, I'm sure some people would want to see the price pull back there for a better entry point, because at the end of the day, what matters the most is what the price has already been doing, and that's right here, building these higher lows, or if you want to envision these as stair steps. So in other words, from the big picture point of view, as long as these stair steps continue to be constructed in the upwards direction, that is by far what matters most. So 31.75 going to be that main area of support. And then from a resistance standpoint, let's go to the daily time frame here. Where would the next... really next level of resistance, not until all the way up there, that pink line, which I've talked about on AMC being the 200-day moving average, currently valued at 35.55. But I mean, look at this move. Basically straight up. So congratulations to those who have been playing it. We'll see if $35 is around the corner or not. Next one, ticker symbol ANY. Did this analysis in yesterday's video. And once again, a very, very nice day. Started off a little shaky. Price gapped up. Started to come down, acted like it was going to be all bearish, and then just like that, turned around and a very nice move in the upwards direction and got a little bit of a pullback right here. So really, this is what would be called, maybe you would disagree, and I can understand that. So we'll call it a poor man's. Have a nice little poor man's cup and handle here. So there's the cup, and there's the handle that's forming. So not just a question of can the price make its way back up through there and break up through that area. That'll be the big question mark moving forward, and that area is right up there about, let's call it $8.40. So right there around 840 is going to be that key level of resistance. Whether or not you want to call it a cup and handle, that's not really the point. You don't want to get too hung up in the names of patterns. It's more so the psychology. And the psychology here is that as of now, right around 840 has been the problem area. But the good news is it's got the big volume and big surge in volume. The price reacted nicely with it. So that's really the big question mark moving forward is, can this momentum continue and get the break at 840? Let's see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol DATS, and I mean, no need to beat around the bush. A savage move today. Going to go ahead and get rid of these lines as they serve their purpose for now. And a savage move just because it was a good old-fashioned gap and trap, meaning the price gapped up. After the price, opened up, the price actually started to head upwards. And I mean, true story, some poor souls were buying up around there. They're probably not having very good days today. But yeah, after that, just... And do I want to use the word collapse? But yeah, that's pretty accurate word. From up there, and the price essentially collapsed all the way down there. And the reason why I'm also using the word collapse is, now look at it. The price is actually down below the 50-period moving average, that purple line, and now down below the 200-period moving average. So not only did it come all the way back down there, it's now actually breaking down through some of these key levels of support. So you know that there's probably more and more shorts getting interested in this thing. But as far as, the next kind of potential bounce area where the price could find some buyers, going to be right down there around $10.50. But if the price goes down to $10.50, not saying it will, but if it goes down there, I mean, think about what that's doing to the price at that point in time. From a storybook perspective, that's essentially putting the price right back to where it was before, that big move upwards like this. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power, true strength. Again, not saying that's what's going to happen, but that is why, in my mind, 1050, a very important level. If the price does try to bounce back upwards, then, right around 1250 is going to be that main area of resistance. But as of right now, at least in my opinion, top priority, the big question is, okay, where is this thing going to finally stop bleeding? Because as of right now, it's basically still just trending right downwards. Next one, AMD, and what a beautiful day on this one, and just an absolutely beautiful pattern. Again, going back to the self-fulfilling prophecy conversation we had before, my recognition of this pattern is not some sort of great skill. It's not some sort of great discovery. A lot of people have noticed this pattern. And, the pattern essentially revolves right around this area here. And we'll call it 109.75 as that key area of resistance. And then you have the support portion of it right there. So let me change that to green to represent more of the bullish dynamic of the pattern. And then to just make this all one color to make it hopefully easier to see. So we have, again, the resistance right here. We have the support right there. We have the momentum move up like that. And then for you visual people, we'll put a little hold on there. Golf hole. So for you golfers out there, hopefully you can see that little pennant here, but this is what we know as a bull pennant pattern. So that's really the easiest way to summarize AMD moving forward is bull pennant pattern. And now the big question just becomes, right, does it need to consolidate a little bit more, just go sideways, or is this consolidation right here enough? And is this thing going to get continuation up through, in technical terminology, get the pattern breakout? We'll see what happens with it. But all in all, great volume, great pattern. Let's see how it plays out on Thursday. Next one, ticker symbol BBIG. And if you get motion sick, you were probably throwing up all over the place today because this thing truly was everywhere. I mean, big gap up. So gapped up, price went all the way up there, hit that area, and then came all the way down here just to start to head all the way back up there. So truly price all over the place. But all in all, when the dust is settled, the chart's still bullish. The chart's hanging in there. Yes, it's been a wild ride, but even if a stock is in an uptrend, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have a bunch of volatility along the way. And today is a perfect example of that. I'm going to do a couple of adjustments now that we have more data. Seems as though the new current key level of resistance can be right up there at that $7 mark. So you're going to want to keep an eye on $7. And then a couple different ways you can monitor support levels. You could draw a trend line in like that if you wanted to. I think that's perfectly acceptable. So once again, let me change that to green to represent more of the support dynamic. Or if you're just kind of lazy, you don't feel like drawing trend lines, then you could just monitor that 50-period moving average of purple line there, because again, that's a moving average. So as time goes by, this quote-unquote trend line is going to draw itself for you. That's why I like to call moving averages trend lines for lazy people. But there you go. So there's the trend line that it's going to draw itself for you, or you can use both. So it's up to you, but the main dynamic here is that volatile day-to-day, but when all the dust is settled, this thing is put in higher bases. And from a trend building perspective, that's what matters most. So all eyes on $7. Let's see if it can get the break. Next one here, ticker symbol SESN. And what a monster day on this one. Kind of exaggerating, but not really. Basically went straight up the entire day long on good solid volume, which presents a problem that from a certain point of view. Now, if you're already in, then you don't care. But if you're not in, then you always got to kind of throw the question of, all right, if you're buying up around here, are you chasing the price? Are you suffering from FOMO? I mean, should you be waiting for a pullback? But to be fair, maybe this thing doesn't pull back. Maybe this thing is just going to keep on roaring upwards. So from an entry standpoint, a little tricky here because it hasn't really pulled back at all. I mean, a miniature pullback, but it essentially closed at its highs. So from that angle of things, in terms of, okay, yeah, I'd like to see pullbacks. Well, that first key level of support where it pulled back last time and then find some buyers was right down there around the 98-cent mark. So that's a potential pullback point. And then if you would want more of a severe pullback, that would be down there around 92. But I mean, I'd be surprised if 92 cents came into play, but I suppose you never know. But those are going to be the two main areas of support. And then from a resistance standpoint, I realize the chart's a little bit harder to see, but that's a good problem to have when you have to go back this far into the chart's history. Next key area of resistance up there at the $1.08 mark, which is going all the way back here to early September. So it's been a long time since the price has been up around this region, but no doubt about it, big volume, big price movement today. And now it's really just a question of, do you want to try to play the momentum of it, wait for a pullback? That's totally up to you and your personal risk tolerance. But anyway you slice it, definitely a great volume day today. Next one, ticker symbol NIO. And going back once more to that self-fulfilling prophecy and kind of well-defined area conversation, we have that in a very big way here. I mean, check out this level right there. I mean, rejected the price, got in the same general area, a bunch of times this morning, same general area. So right up here, give or take, let's just call it 36.65 is going to be one of those areas that every breakout player and their brother's uncle is going to be watching moving forward. Maybe it doesn't come into play on Thursday. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't come into play on Friday either. But just generally speaking, because we're looking at a multiple week reference point here, that level has shown up time and time again as a very stubborn level. But the good news is, well, the bad news is it's a stubborn level. But the good news is when stubborn levels are broken, they tend to create good, solid upside movements. Once more, nothing is guaranteed in the market, but is it at least a rational, valid thought process to have that if 36.65 can be broken, it could create some good upwards momentum. Yeah, absolutely it is. And then as far as key levels of support, for those of you that like to play pullbacks, a couple different choices. You have that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, currently valid at the $36 mark. Or if you'd want more of a bigger pullback, which you can see right here, the prices bounced off before, that would be that pink line, the 200-period moving average, valid at right around 35.40. But I think the most interesting dynamic here, and the dynamic that most people will be watching, has everything to do with that resistance trend line, and just the big question of, if the price is going to, if the bulls are going to break through it, when exactly is that going to happen? So if you like to play breakouts, definitely worth keeping an eye on. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you enjoyed what you saw here, and if you're starting to see the power and the usefulness of technical analysis and how they can be used as a tool to make good decisions that ultimately lead to consistency, then I definitely want you to get signed up for the class. Like I said, it'll be Thursday, October 14th. So if you're watching this tonight, this evening, then it'll be tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe you're watching this Thursday morning, then it'll be later on today, but it'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely get signed up for the class. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please help me out and communicate that to me by doing two easy things. Hit the like button, leave a basic comment. It could be a ticker symbol that you traded today, maybe something that you're watching for tomorrow, a number, the number 11, I don't know, a smiley face. But those two things, hitting the like button, leaving a comment down below, communicate to me that it's worth the time and effort to put these videos together. And as long as I know that it's worth the time and effort, then I will continue to do them moving forward. So again, if you want to learn more, if you want to learn about how charts should be used, how they can be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the class. Everybody take care. Have a good one.